tell me a little bit about who you guys are and what you've been doing and some of the successes you've had.
I'm a former film executive. I've worked on films such as The Blind Side and The Book of Eli and Sister of the Traveling Pants and P.S. I Love You. And now I'm a producer in my own right and have a slate of my own and trying to get projects off the ground.
Awesome.
I'm Maher Jaffrey. I'm a TV development executive and producer, and I've run development for production companies with deals at 3 major studios and been part of launching some pretty big shows like George Lopez show and was on Drew Carey show for a long time, and a lot of other shows that people won't remember. But now also doing my own projects and launching new things.
I'm Nance Rosen, and I'm a personal branding coach. Delighted to be a personal branding coach for Voyage. I'm a former marketing executive at Coca-Cola, the #1 most recognized brand in the world. I was a fashion model in Vogue and Elle. I hosted international business, and CNBC calls me their top job coach.
Wow, extraordinary. Thank you so much for being here, guys. This is really great. Why don't we just jump right in? I'd love to know what you guys think that writers, producers, directors, and talent have been doing in the past to move their careers forward, and what they're up against now, and how they're moving their careers forward today. So, Jesse, why don't you start out and tell me what you're seeing?
Well, I think the struggle today, especially in the film industry, is just the shrinking of the business. You know, there's not as much money around. A lot of what's getting made are sequels, remakes, brand new properties. And so I think in the past people were writing more of their personal stories and writing more on spec. And I think, for better or for worse, the way the business is going today, a lot of times people are trying to write, pitch remakes, pitch reconceptions of old properties that there's previous understanding or previous awareness of. People need to package themselves a lot more before you were able to sell a spec, and now you really have to get a writer, a director and a piece of talent involved in order to make it feel like something that has a true chance of getting made.
I think shrinkage is a big challenge in television right now too. Traditionally, a lot of it comes up in an apprenticeship model in TV. It's you sort of work for the people who are doing the job you want to do and become part of those staffs and work up through directing, writing staffs, etc. I think now people are looking at a lot of different ways to find talent, which is a nice opportunity because they've had to pull back on deals and all these things. They don't have quite the pipelines of finding new things. So I think there's an opportunity there for people to be able to get their foot in the door, get seen. For some of these big media companies, they do need a new look.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting what you guys are saying, because you're saying there's shrinkage, meaning there's less being made and there's less people doing the making of, and yet at the same time we have this exponential growth of screens, channels, and networks, online areas where people can distribute content. So is the demand for content gone, or is there just a new way of emerging for how to get it done?
I think I think you make a good point. I think it's in the past it was when you thought of making a feature film, you thought of making a wide audience movie. The term movie gives you a sense of size in a certain way, and I think now there's if you want to tell a personal story, I think there's many different ways to get it done. I think the barrier to entry is shrinking because you can have you could literally shoot a movie on your iPhone camera. I think it's all about learning to determine what the proper size for your story is and figuring out the best way to get it done.
So in a sense, the Goliaths of the industry are sort of crumbling under the pressure of economic scale, and so the emergence of the David is the order of the day.
And I think the missing section now is distribution for this. I think that's what's emerging. There's different ways to do it, and I don't think the leader has emerged yet, but I think there's going to be some form of distribution for all these, whether it's internet or sort of mini movie models.
So within the realm of the Davids emerging if you will. Nance, tell
My
me
bad.
about having a personal brand strategy and how that might be relevant to an entertainment career.
Sure. And I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, largely because of out-of-home network, largely because of the web. That is really where we're going. I think we're going to see these big blockbusters and movies. We're going to see a lot of things go to direct to DVD, and we're going to see a lot of content on the internet, which is fantastic for people who have developed or are developing a personal brand. Personal brand is fundamentally three things. It is getting attention, making an emotional connection, and leaving an indelible memory of who you are. You can do it just like Coke did, just like Apple does, just like Nike does. Control your reputation. Only you're not buying media, you are the media. And social media allows you to bubble up your authentic and clear, crisp, concise personal brand as we've never seen before. This is just in the last 2 years.
So are you saying that like a writer who fancies themselves as somebody behind the scenes or a director that maybe wants to be more of a producer, like that they would be thinking like this, even though they're technicians or you know, not in front of the camera?
There's only two things that matter. One are interactions and the other is actions. And on the internet, when you take action or have interactions, it's populated all around the world. This is the first time that we can reach everybody. I'm not worried about selling to somebody here in the States. I can sell to somebody here in India. I just need them to know who you are, which means you have to be clearly positioning yourself as somebody with that talent, that intention, and that growing ability.